Going back to your description of the cost cutting that's taken place in recent years, it may be, you know, I've interviewed your opponent, Scott Kelly, that he was a victim from his perspective. Yeah. I know from the government's perspective, it was a necessity. It wasn't only Kelly, but it was a number of people, as you pointed out in the statistical set that you presented. But you may have, I mean, North Canton government may have been the reason why you have an opponent this year. And just let me just give you a little background. In the blog I did on his interview, I published a graphic of David Held's electoral history. And all but one time you were unopposed, and in the time that you were opposed, you got a what, 83, 84% of the votes? You expect a similar outcome this time?
You know, I really don't know what the outcome is going to be. I mean, really what I know is that all I need is one vote more than 50% to win the election. The goal is really to get the support of the people in the community to win re-election, and hopefully they think that we're doing a good job. And I think that if you look at the 2016 survey that we send out to the residents, and that was a part of the performance audit also, that they recommend that we send out a survey frequently to the residents, and we've been doing it once every 3 years. The last survey was in 2016, and when you look at the responses that we've gotten from the city, our police department, 93% of the respondents gave our police department a good or excellent rating. 89% gave our fire and EMS department a good or excellent rating. Our recycling and waste collection was 94% good or excellent rating. And so we've fared very, very well with that survey, and it was sent out to all the households. And we've ranged over the years anywhere from 14 to 19% in response rate, which is very, very high. And it's a cross-section of all people in the community, anywhere from 18 up to 25, and then 25 to 35, and then 35 to 55, and 55 and above. So when you look at those results, that's coming from the people in our city.
And that's against a population base of what, 17, 18,000?
Yeah, we have approximately, according to the census, 17,300.
Okay.
Yeah, and so really what we've learned to do, my experience over the years has been in running organizations. The Stark Tuscarawas Wayne Solid Waste District organization, the City of North Canton, and then prior to that, I was a consultant for Zimmer, a company that provided hip and knee replacement procedures to seniors. And so we would take equipment in for the procedure, and I think that's really where I learned a lot of my experience as far as operations, strategic operations, and policies to keep a system running efficiently and effectively.
Okay. Is North Canton government understaffed these days with all the cuts?
We'd always love to have more employees, but we look at it now, it's making sure that we're running at the optimum level. And one thing that I have found is that you have to take each individual employee and assess what their strengths are, what their skill sets are, and place that person in a position that is going to be able to optimize their gifts and talents in service to the people in the community. One of the things that we know is that when you have an individual that has a particular skill set, but you don't have them working in that area that where their greatest strength is, they are not as excited about doing the work, and their performance goes down. And so when you have the right people with the right gifts and talents and the right attitude, it makes the city run really, really well.
Well, so management of the city is a very important factor.
Oh, I think it's critical. I mean, it's number one, you have to be able to honestly assess yourself. As a leader, you've got to be able to honestly assess the employees, but then the employees have to find a way, through the leadership to have a critique of their own abilities. And once you get individuals in the habit of doing that, the performance really just goes through the roof. It really improves the service that you can provide to the residents.
So you've been the manager-in-chief in North Canton for 12 years. Have you perfected your skills, or does David Hill have things to work on?
Oh, absolutely. There's always plenty to work on. It's and I think that is even one of our local activists who's always been very much available to provide a critiquing of my performance, Chuck Osborne. I just embrace it because he's never lacking in pointing out where we can improve things, and if it's an area that needs to be improved, it really doesn't matter where it comes from. We're going to make it right. And I think it's a process of striving for continuous improvement. So that's what our goal is. Ever since I started as mayor in North Canton, we've kept it very simple. Organizationally, we had two primary goals. So every decision that we made in the city of North Canton throughout the organization was, number one, it had to meet two requirements. One, will it bring new jobs to the city? And secondly, is this going to allow the city to be more cost efficient and effective? And if we met one or both of those requirements, we'd move ahead with the decision. If it didn't meet either one of those requirements, if it wasn't going to bring new jobs and it wasn't going to allow us to be more cost efficient and effective, then we're not going to proceed with that decision.